Hi and welcome to the Cult TV Sofa. This is a reaction and discussion video for the 22nd episode of Season 3 of Babylon 5 called Zahadum. Don't forget that you can see the full reaction for this episode on my Patreon channel. Check out the link in the description below. Last time we saw Delenn trying to persuade the League of Non-Aligned Worlds to pledge a large number of their ships to the attack against the Shadows, or defense against the Shadows. Sheridan asked Ivanova and Marcus to take the White Star to the area of space that they are monitoring to wait for the shadow attack, so they give an early warning that it happened. The League agreed to send a number of ships. The Doctor, still on his walkabout, stepped in to try and stop a mugging and got stabbed for his troubles. Ivanova and Marcus saw a shadow probe ship and managed to destroy it before they could send a warning to the other shadow ships, but they were damaged in the process. The shadows finally came in force, and the defense came to the rescue. Stephen finally managed to speak to himself and made some decisions about how to change him. He managed to make it to safety and got treatment for his injuries. The battle raged on, and there were heavy casualties on both sides. The Shadows retreated, but Sheridan couldn't really celebrate because he could see the toll the wind had taken. We saw a ship detach from a shadow ship, and the passenger arrived at the station, and it was John's dead wife Anna, which gave Delenn quite the shock. So let's see what happens in this episode. I'm going to put any relevant trivia that I find over here, and at the end of the reaction I'll be discussing what happened and my thoughts about it. And I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1. They seem to have some of the bigger guns there now around the station. Some of the big Minbari cruisers.
Dr. Chang thinks he's found the ruins of an ancient civilization that no one's ever even heard of before.
I think they have.
The Icarus. They found something, didn't they?
They did indeed.
Once awakened, the shadows could not allow them to leave.
Okay, so is it their arrival that woke the shadows up, that started all of this? How many years ago was this? Oh, I can't remember how long ago this was now that she disappeared. Was it 5 years? So actually, it's possible that that's what triggered it all.
139 people died on board the Icarus, Mr. Morden.
And here you sit, not a scratch.
And here she stands, not a scratch. Surprise!
You must be Delenn. I'm Anna Sheridan, John's wife.
She knows who she is.
Barry also have a phrase. What is past is also sometimes future.
Well, that's very true in the case of Valen. What is past is also the future, or can be the future.
What are you doing here?
That's an odd thing to say.
After 5 years, that's the best that you can do.
It is 5 years. Just think of the timing. So we're in season 3, so it's 3 years since obviously this all kicked off. Although, obviously there was a gap between the pilot episode and then the first episode of the series. Okay. Yeah, I think it is their visit to the planet triggered it all, woke the shadows and started all this off, I think. So that seems a happy coincidence that it was his wife and he's the one who's ended up in this position. With Sheridan, it's kind of all, it was destined to happen. Is that the case? With Sinclair, it was destined to happen. With Sheridan, was it always destined that he would be here? Not sure.
I should go.
Yes, a little bit awkward now.
It's all right, John. Let her go. You can talk to her later.
I think that is right at this stage.
Should be a moment for us.
That is true.
I thought you were dead.
You mean she didn't tell you?
She didn't tell you.
I'm sorry that I couldn't tell you myself.
Who didn't tell her what? Tell him what?
But that's all behind us now. We're together again.
Oh, seriously? You can't just turn up like that and expect that.
How can you be sure if it's really me?
Yeah.
For all you know, for all she told you, I could be some thing made up to look like me.
Yeah. Or you could have stuff in your head, implants, creatures.
Whatever test you want. Ask me any question. I don't mind.
Okay, that's a good start.
I know there's a lot that you don't understand.
Yep.
Don't you want to know what it's all about?
Yes.
All you have to do is come with me to Zahadum.
Well, he's not gonna. Wouldn't just go there. I mean, yes, got a lot of tests. You'd be scanning her. I'm assuming they got DNA records, so they'd be able to scan her that way. I'll be scanning her head to make sure there's nothing, no implants or creatures or anything inside her. We've seen in the flash forward that Londo had that creature on his shoulder, but it was invisible. Can they check for that? Well, just keep punching her on her shoulders, see if that stops it. So she knows who Delenn is, and she said, didn't she tell you? Which implies someone knew she was alive, and I can only assume Delenn. We don't know what her personality was like before, but she wasn't very. She was very matter of fact, wasn't she? Not very emotional to see him. It was a very odd greeting after 5 years, and him thinking she was dead.
Each of these devices carries terrible destructive force. They can deliver a thermonuclear blast of 500 or 600 megatons.
Not sure I'll be happy standing there.
The next time we find out where the Shadows plan to strike.
Mine it.
As soon as they come out of hyperspace.
Then, as you so precisely say, boom.
I'm not sure I'll be happy having them all on the station, but mind you, if something did go wrong and one of them did explode, they're not going to know about it because everyone would just be vaporized immediately, instantaneously. So, yeah, I suppose. What the hell? So they are checking her out.
Well, she's human.
Right.
Every piece of equipment I've got says that's your wife. I thought you'd be happy to have her back.
No, it's not that easy.
I just spotted something then, a name, which I'll have trivia here about it.
Over to create a new life. And Delenn?
That's so hard. God, if you think your wife's died and you move on emotionally, I mean, you move on, you grieve for her, and your emotions will likely fade, especially if you fall in love with someone else, which he's done. There's always going to be feelings there for your past wife, but they will more than likely fade and you'll fall in love with someone else. And then that person comes back. I can't even imagine what I would do.
Scarring just above the nape of her neck. Now, it may have been caused when the Icarus was destroyed, but...
Anything beneath it?
Now, maybe it's nothing, but it never hurts to run a few more tests.
Yeah.
Is it her? Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know how or what the legalities are. I'm not sure they'd care at this stage, but I'd be using a telepath as well. So yes, they can check her physically, but scan her as well. I mean, if she volunteers to be allowed to be scanned, I'm sure that'd be okay. A telepath wouldn't have an issue with doing it. And if she says no, that's interesting as well. That's telling. But yeah, that's what I'd be doing as well.
Those who would not serve the Shadows were killed. That we knew without question.
Oh,
We assumed she would not serve.
Oh, assumed. So she didn't lie. She admitted information. A lie by omission.
Even a chance of her being alive. Why the hell didn't you tell me?
Because you would have gone to Zahadum after her.
Yeah, you probably would.
You couldn't allow it.
That's going to cause problems. That's probably the worst thing she could have said. Although it's the truth.
All along, a little part of me was still in love with Anna, even
Yeah.
though she was gone.
It always will. It'll always be there. Or would have always been there.
I didn't know she was alive. We assumed that she had died with the rest of the crew of the Icarus.
But you didn't know.
And had you known, would you have told me?
Oh, there's the question.
It would depend on what she had become.
How can you say that and expect me to ever trust you again?
Yeah, that is true, unfortunately. You never know whether she's telling you everything all the truth. She could be holding things back, especially big things.
I have been promoted.
Promoted?
I've been offered a position in the royal court as an advisor to Emperor Cartagia.
Whoa.
Through our friend Mr. Morden, I have gained influence.
So they want him where they can see him.
It's not a reward, it's a leash.
Yeah.
I have to divide my time between here and the home world.
Why both? Well, if he's been promoted, he's not going to be ambassador anymore, I would assume. So there's no need for him to go to the station. So surely his focus, if he accepts that promotion, would be he'd be on the home world and that's it. That's a bit odd.
I was sent by our mutual associates. You must leave the station at once.
Oh.
Friend of Mr. Boynton's?
Yeah. Well, he must have been on the Icarus as well then? Ah, what's that? An implant? Ah. Though, oh, I didn't quite see. I assumed those were the same person scans, but they might not have been. That circle bit looked like those implants that those telepaths had that they captured. I think they had like a round bit and wires, but they were external on the body, whereas that was more internal. I think. As I say, I couldn't quite see the scans. I wasn't quite sure whose was whose. Maybe it was two different people's. One was the telepath that they captured, and one was hers. But it looks like they still went into the same place at the back of the head. Oh, does that mean she did have an implant that's been removed then?
And you've been on Zahadum all these years? Mm-hmm. Doing what?
I can guarantee your safety. They're eager to meet you.
I'll try to trust her.
Just an invitation to come and hear their side of the story. Nothing more. I'm doing important work.
What work?
I want to know what happened to you and the crew of the Icarus when you landed on Zahadum.
John...
That's my condition.
Interplanetary expeditions had found the ruins of an ancient civilization. What he didn't tell me was where he really got the information.
Where did he get it?
IPX had found an alien ship buried beneath the surface of Mars.
Right.
As soon as it was exposed to daylight, an automatic beacon on board sent out a coded message.
Oh, so that's what woke them up.
They analyzed the ship, took pieces of it for study later, and planted a homing device inside.
Ah, so when it left, they traced it.
As soon as we landed, we picked up an energy source. We were told to check it out.
God, that's pretty much a suicide mission they've sent them on.
Their actual name is 10,000 letters long. I couldn't pronounce it if I tried.
Sounds Welsh.
They were quite approachable.
Tell that to the rest of the crew.
There was an accident. The crew was killed.
How many are alive?
Those of us who survived had no way to tell Earth what had happened.
But you're here.
In exchange for our silence, they let us study their technology.
That seems very suspect.
Limitless cheap energy, organic ships. We could leap ahead 1,000 years. 10,000.
Why would they give that technology up?
We didn't realize how much time had passed. It doesn't work quite the same way there as it does here.
That doesn't make sense either. Unless they're being taken over and they're not conscious all the time. So they're only conscious for a little bit of time, so time's obviously moving faster as far as they're concerned. That kind of makes a bit more sense. It's not like time would go at a different speed there.
It's time to learn the truth.
You're right. Maybe it is time.
What's he looking at? The scans.
Need a few things taken care of. It's all here.
Son of a bitch.
It's against regulations to address a senior officer.
You're not part of EarthGov at the moment.
When I see you next, if everything is said, we'll talk about the weather.
I hope it's not rain, because that's bad on the station. Seems dangerous to leave a white star. White star uncrewed with all this going on. Kosh is still inside you. I think he's hiding under the bed. Have a look. That's why the bed's about 5 foot up in the air.
I heard a weather report from Earth. They've had a late winter, but it finally started snowing in New York.
So he's done whatever he wanted to do.
Take care, Michael.
You too.
So he's going...
The ship's control system's pretty intelligent, so as long as we don't run into any trouble, we should be fine.
What's he's flying the White Star on his own?
Next stop, Zahadum.
Ooh, what was that look? How on earth can he fly that on his own? And that seems very dangerous, taking the White Star there to Zahadum.
When we get there, we'll take the shuttle down to the surface.
Oh, I never thought about shuttle bays. I wonder where that is on there. Makes it, obviously, there'd have to be to get the crews on board. Because that's quite a big shuttle. So they've only got face masks on, so the atmosphere must be similar to Earth. It's just not much oxygen or no oxygen. Probably not much oxygen, not enough to breathe. Otherwise, they'd need full-on suits.
Since they moved their main structures underground centuries ago.
Okay, I was wondering about that.
I'll need your gun.
Surprised he was allowed to bring it down in the first place. Why didn't she tell him not to bring it?
They designed this part of the complex specifically for us.
Do you know what? I was just wondering about that, because the doors, I was thinking, why would they have doors like that? Because they're not that big, and it would seem a strange door for the shadows to have, for their shapes. And then she said that, so okay. So she did say survivors. How many survived? I assume that guy we saw earlier talking to Londo was one of them.
Anna, you've got him to come back with you.
Mr. Morden? Who's he?
Captain, I think you already know.
Yes.
Oh, he's just who you want there. If you're trying to make a good impression and try and show everything's fine, to have Mr. Morden there smirking and looking all evil, that's not the best person to be there. So that's a delayed message that he sent.
Do you accept?
Yes.
Glenn.
She's wondering what it is. She's hesitant about it.
We'll be at Zahadum with Anna. I can pretty much guess your reaction.
Yeah, I didn't take a breath.
I jumped forward in time. We'd won the war, but Centauri Prime had been devastated. You said that this future couldn't be changed.
Ah. Ooh.
Do you understand? Do not go to Zahadum.
Oh. Okay. So if that future... Oh, that's dangerous. So if that future cannot change, that means whatever he does, he's not going to die and it'll always happen. So he can just do whatever he wants and feel invulnerable. That's a bit dangerous. And then she said, don't go to Zahadum, pleading with him, which implies that he did go to Zahadum, and she's saying, don't go... I can't remember exactly how she worded it. Might be more in a second, but okay, so that means he did, in the flashback he saw, he did go to Zahadum and he survives. So he has now gone to Zahadum, assuming he's going to survive.
What if that future happened because I listened to your warning and didn't go to Zahadum?
Oh, you can't second guess things like that. What if I had gone? What if I hadn't gone? What if I'd done this? What if I'd done that?
So I'm going, even though I know it's almost certainly a trap.
Back 1,000,000 years ago, there were forces prowling around the galaxy.
Is there an IKEA on Zahadum?
They wanted to look after the younger races,
help them evolve.
One of these was the Vorlons. The other.
The Shadows. Why stay behind? Why not let them grow at their own pace?
The others, the ones who live here, believe that strength only comes from conflict.
But those who survive are stronger.
I mean, they do say that war is the... I can't think how it's worded, but our technology basically jumps every time there's a war because we always look for ways to improve the way we fight, which leads to advancements in medical technology, attacking technology, so obviously nuclear, which has led to then power generation for us, and the weapons and technology we found has led to other areas that improve our life. So there is truth in what they say, but obviously war is not a good thing. Why do we have to jump in that way? What's wrong with everyone just having peace and just progressing slowly and just being happy? Why do they have to progress?
So that's what the shadows do. Come out every few thousand years and
Kick anthills.
I don't think it was ever easy, but you can't let that get in the way of the dream.
Their dream. It's not everyone's.
All around us.
Oh. How many are there? At least 3 or 4, I think.
They're not moving. Holding position.
I mean, their lasers could cut up the station in seconds. Telepaths? That's your best bet.
6,000 years of recorded wars. But look at what came out of all of that. We've gone to the stars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the obvious thing as well. Obviously, World War II, a lot of the rocket technology and things that were developed then for obviously rockets to be sent to the different countries led to the space race, led to us going into space. There's so much technology jumped from World War II. It's quite unbelievable. But yeah, it's true.
We never would have come this far if we hadn't been at each other's throats, evolving.
Yeah. But who's to say that's good?
But the Vorlons decided that their way was the right way.
Neither way's the right way.
They even started interfering with the development of younger races.
Yeah, just letting them progress at their own rate and doing what they do naturally is the right way. Not interfering.
They've manipulated us so we'd respond favorably to them.
Yeah, that's bad as well.
Why do you think certifiable telepaths came out of nowhere?
So they created telepaths.
So we can either work together now,
or
we can remove your support mechanism.
Destroy the station. I'm surprised they haven't done that anyway. From what they're saying, I suppose if they can persuade him to come over to their side, then the station will come on their side as well. They'll help them win.
Everything depends on getting the other races to fight each other.
The strongest survives.
There's always someone who tries to organize the other races. But as far as our goals are concerned...
Our goals. So yeah, they are shadow representatives. I don't know if they've got shadows... I don't know how it's working. If they've got implants in them and the shadows are speaking through them is what I'm getting. They're not them. They are the shadows in a form.
Let go of those other races.
What was his position then? Who was he on the ship? The Icarus?
You can work with us,
or you'll do to me what you did to him.
I assume an archaeologist. He wouldn't be in command, he's too old, but he might have a lot of experience in archaeology, so they might have sent him for that side of things, I assume. He wouldn't be a crew member of the ship.
I don't know what you're...
The memories are there. The voice is there. I look in her eyes, and the woman I love isn't there.
She did seem detached, but say I don't know what she was like before.
She made the mistake of choosing badly.
Oh.
You stuck her in one of those ships, didn't you?
She doesn't know. From her reaction, I'm assuming. Oh, he's got a backup gun.
They had implants in the brainstem, right back here.
Right.
Scars in the back of her head are in exactly the same.
But they removed it.
But we pulled her out as soon as we found out who she was.
Right. They saw how important she was.
So do what you're told. And so will you.
Can that kill them? So much for granting safe passage.
How many of those bombs do we have?
That's what I came to tell you. 2 of the devices are missing.
What?
Whoa. So he's fighting his way out. Wow. I was wondering where they were living. Underground. Although the buildings look very human in design. The sort of square structures like that.
Thermal fusion. Armed for detonation.
That's what Garibaldi did. He put 2 of the bombs on the ship. So he's going to blow it up.
There's nowhere to run.
That's not his intention. It was never his intention to run.
But I can love you as well as she did.
Yeah, probably not really selling it.
I love you, Delenn. Goodbye.
Okay. So he got to home in on him.
Jump. Jump. Now.
Ah, she's not alone. Oh, it's burning up on re-entry. That was a cool effect. So they got a real-time connection. What happened then?
Unless we were no longer a threat.
So, that was a lot to process. So, yeah, he knew that Anna had had one of those implants in. I was right earlier that the two scans, one showed the scar entry on Anna, and the other showed a scan of someone who'd had the implant on them, and it showed that it entered in the same place that she had the scar when they overlapped the scans. Okay, so they kind of worked out that she had been in a shadow ship. They knew that. And then, as they said, they discovered who she was and they took her out, but she would never be the same. So they changed her personality. Same memories, but it's not her. So he went there with the intention, I assume, of doing what he did because he took 2 bombs with him. He then got the ship to. He touched his link. I can't remember which hand it's on. He got it to home in on him. So that dome must be visible from space then. But all we ever saw was like a barren planet, but there are obviously signs of life on the planet that would be visible. So we got to home in. That was such a cool effect, seeing the ship coming in and the glowing red and the sort of a fire, assumed from its re-entry, which would also imply that there is an atmosphere of some kind on the planet, which there would have to be for them to be out there with just a mask on, not a full-on suit. So that all adds up nicely. And yeah, so he crashed it into that city. Is that the only city? Are there more of them on the planet? Is that the only place that they live? And it blew them up. He had Kosh's voice in his head that's told him to jump. He's got to survive. I don't know how he can survive that, but he's got to. Because he has to. But also, I think, as Delenn said in that flashback, that he'd always gone to Zahadum. I think this has always happened, but he must have come back because... Oh. Actually, no, I'm wrong. Oh, no, sorry, I'm just thinking this all through. I was assuming he was always in the future as a future him, but that's not true, is it? We saw him flash forward, so his younger self was in the future. I don't know if he was in the future. Oh, I can't remember. The events, what happened, will always happen, but I don't know about him being there now. Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, he can't be dead. I just don't know how he survives. Oh, and sorry, there's a lot to break down in this one. Does she know because of her telepathic abilities? Does she know that he is dead? Literally know because she can't feel him or she felt him die? Or is she just interpreting it from the situation? I think it's the telepathic abilities indicated there, which implies she had a connection with him in some kind. I don't mean like reading his memory, just a little connection.
2260, and the war had paused.
Gone to lick their wounds, retreating to deal with the aftermath.
Commander?
You're in charge now.
The White Star isn't receiving.
It's not there.
As far as we can tell, it's been destroyed.
Yep.
One of the fighters we sent out didn't come back.
Who was the pilot?
Garibaldi.
Mr. Garibaldi.
So we saw the shadow literally over him, so it's taken him.
The future is all around us.
Bomb did a lot of damage. Well, that was a hell of an episode. I mean, I've said a lot of it already, I think, but so it did take Garibaldi as well. So at the end, we've got Garibaldi taken by them. Sheridan, he can't be dead, but I don't know how he would survive that. I would assume a significant number of shadows killed, including... I get the impression that is their only city, but that seems unlikely, but a lot of them wiped out. But obviously they've got a lot of ships around, so they've still got a lot of fighting ability, but what damage did that do to them as a species? Yeah, Ivanova now in command of the station. The Shadows withdrew the attack, and I assume they're going to withdraw for the time being, pull back just to protect the home world and sort of rebuild themselves a bit. So it probably is going to stop attacks for a while. They said that Jagar said that the war was paused, which makes sense. Yeah. Like I said, I kind of already said a lot of it. I paused and said a lot as I was going along. So, a lot to take in on that one. Interested to see where season 4 goes now with this. Next episode will be a wrap up of the seasons. Give me a chance to get my thoughts together and put that in the video. So yeah, I'm gonna I might rewatch that one actually just to take a lot of it in again. But yeah, let me know what you thought about this one in the comments below, and I shall see you for the next episode. Be seeing you.